Jason Whitmore never thought his life would feel this sluggish. At 39, he figured he had at least another decade of high energy and peak performance before anything began to slow down. But lately, everything just seemed off. His alarm would buzz at 6:30 every morning, and rather than feeling ready to tackle the day, Jason would groan, slam the snooze button, and curl back into bed. The idea of hitting the gym, or even just making a hearty breakfast, felt like climbing a mountain. Jason worked as a senior architect in a competitive San Diego firm, where being sharp, creative, and alert wasn't optional. It was expected. But over the last few months, his creativity had hit a wall. Sketches didn't flow. Deadlines loomed larger than ever. And worse, his physical vitality was plummeting. He could barely make it through a 20-minute jog without feeling like his lungs were on fire. Maybe it's burnout, his colleague Chris offered over lunch one day, sipping on a green smoothie and glancing over Jason's plate of fries. You ever think it could be your diet? Jason laughed, but it was more of a tired chuckle. My diet? Man, I've been eating like this for years. You're telling me a few fruits and vegetables are going to fix this? Chris shrugged. You'd be surprised. I used to feel the same way until my cousin, who's into holistic nutrition, made me try this fruit blend. No sugar bombs, no crazy shakes. Just natural stuff that fuels your body right. Jason waved him off at the time, but the words lingered. That night, as he stood in front of his mirror, brushing his teeth, he saw it. The fatigue under his eyes, the dullness of his skin, the lack of life behind his stare. Something had to change. And if that meant experimenting with fruit, so be it. So he made a call to Chris the next morning. All right, Jason said. Tell me about the fruit thing. 2 hours later, they were standing in a farmer's market near Pacific Beach. The stalls overflowed with vibrant produce: strawberries, mangoes, bananas, avocados, all bursting with color and scent. Chris walked over to a small corner stand run by a cheerful woman named Elaine, who greeted them like old friends. This is Elaine, Chris said. She's the one who helped me overhaul my energy levels. Trust me, man. Just talk to her. Elaine studied Jason with knowing eyes. You're tired, she said simply. But not just physically. Your cells are tired. That means your energy engine, your mitochondria, isn't being fed right. Jason blinked. My mitochondria? Your body's battery packs. You charge them right, you feel unstoppable. Most of us eat stuff that slows them down. But the right fruits? They flip the switch. Jason wasn't sure whether to feel skeptical or intrigued, but something about her confidence made him lean in. She picked up a small red fruit. Start with pomegranates, she said. They're nature's performance booster. Over the next 2 weeks, Jason committed. He blended pomegranate seeds into his morning smoothie, added slices to his lunch salad, and sometimes just ate them straight with a spoon. He learned that pomegranates were packed with nitrates and antioxidants that improved blood flow and oxygen delivery. That meant more endurance, better workouts, sharper focus. Within a few days, Jason noticed his runs lasted longer. He wasn't panting by minute 15. In the office, he didn't feel that heavy fog lingering over his thoughts. Things began to click. His sketches took shape faster. His energy didn't crash by 2 p.m. like it used to. Elaine wasn't done. Next, she said the following weekend, handing him a tropical, oval-shaped fruit, is papaya. Papaya? Jason asked. Isn't that just for digestion? That's one thing. But papayas are also loaded with vitamins A, C, and E, your immune system's best friends. Not to mention, they're rich in an enzyme called papain, which helps reduce inflammation. You want energy? You need to reduce the inflammation silently draining it from you. Jason had never really eaten papaya, but he tried. He added it to bowls, topped it with yogurt, and even grilled slices for dinner. The taste grew on him. But what grew faster was his sense of vitality. His muscle soreness after workouts began to fade faster. That constant stiffness in his joints, the one he'd attributed to getting older, nearly vanished. He started sleeping deeper, waking earlier, and for the first time in months, he actually looked forward to mornings. Still, Elaine had one more gift to give. You've done well, she smiled. But the final fruit? That's your crown jewel. She held out a basket of small, bright green fruits. Kiwis? Jason asked. Aren't those just sugar bombs in fuzzy skin? They're powerhouses, Elaine replied. Packed with vitamin C, more than oranges, and natural serotonin precursors. Ever feel mentally drained or emotionally flat? Kiwi helps restore your mood and mental clarity. And it's got magnesium and potassium to support muscle function and hydration. Energy isn't just physical, it's emotional, too. Jason was hooked. Kiwis became a staple. He snacked on them before workouts, sliced them into oatmeal, and even froze them for late-night treats. Combined with the pomegranate and papaya, his energy soared. It wasn't just physical. His mental fog had cleared entirely. He began pitching bolder ideas at work, some that landed him a meeting with the firm's top partners. His gym routine became consistent, and he started sleeping like a teenager. His skin even took on a glow that had people asking if he'd been on vacation. But perhaps most surprisingly, Jason began to feel like himself again. More than that, he felt like a better version of himself. Not just alive, but thriving. He paid another visit to Elaine after 6 weeks of sticking to the 3-fruit plan. This time, he brought his younger sister Melissa, who'd been battling similar fatigue. I'm sold, Jason told Elaine. You weren't selling fruit. You were handing out keys to a new life. Elaine smiled and handed Melissa a fresh bag. Tell your body what you need, and it'll answer. You just have to feed it right. Months passed. Jason didn't return to his old habits. If anything, he became a quiet ambassador for Elaine's philosophy. At company lunches, he brought fruit bowls instead of donuts. At the gym, he shared tips on fruit-fueled pre-workouts. And every time someone asked him how he looked so energized, he gave them the same 3 answers: pomegranate, papaya, and kiwi. It wasn't magic. It was nature. And it worked. By the end of the year, Jason had led a wellness initiative at his firm, partnering with local markets to deliver fresh fruit baskets weekly. Productivity rose. Sick days dropped. People smiled more. It all started with a question and 3 powerful fruits. Jason stood once more at the Pacific Beach Market, holding a bag of each. He didn't feel 39 anymore. He felt alive, driven, recharged. Sometimes, the greatest performance booster isn't in a pill, a bottle, or an energy drink. Sometimes, it's right there on a fruit stand, waiting for someone to believe in it. And Jason would never doubt it again.